Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here, and today I want to do a tier list for the typings when it comes to OU. So what typings I think are the best right now, and what are the worst. And I have Envy here with me today. Say hi.
What's poppin', what's poppin'? We're here to analyze the types, and I'm also going to be telling you all what are the best types and what types you need to stay away from.
So yeah guys, if you enjoy this type of video, feel free to subscribe. Almost 257,000 subscribers, and of course check out Envy as well. So if you guys want to try this out, I'll leave a link down below so you can make your own. So we're actually starting off with dark typing, and I'm going to be honest, Steel not resisting dark since X amount of generations ago has been ridiculous. And when I think of dark type, I automatically think of Urshifu, right? And Urshifu is ridiculous as a Pokemon, but of course it's not the only dark type in OU that's really good, right? You have Hydreigon, and you also have defensively you have Mandibuzz. I guess right now, like you also
You got
have
T-Tar as well.
yeah, T-Tar too, exactly. I think that dark is just a phenomenal typing, and regardless of resistances, almost all the Pokemon have something to deal with it, right? Like when it comes to Urshifu, obviously Wicked Blow always crits. Hydreigon can Nasty Plot and break through fairies anyway, and it's almost always using Dark Stab, right? You don't usually drop Dark Pulse on Hydreigon. Mandibuzz is almost always using Knockoff and Foul Play, and I think the biggest thing about Dark typing that makes it amazing is the fact that it's one of the only resistances to Ghost, right? You have Dark, and then you have Normal, which is an immunity, because they got rid of the Steel resistance to Ghost. So I think that Dark is just an extremely good typing, and you can give your opinion on that too.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, the thing with Dark is it's very similar to Ghost in the sense that it's very spammable. Um,
Even more spammable than
unlike
Ghost.
even more spammable than Ghost because there are no immunities to Dark type attacks. Um, and yeah, overall, like, just hard-hitting moves. Like, think about it, clicking Dark Pulse, you're spamming Dark Pulse all the time and getting flinches and stuff too. Like,
Yeah, it's really hard. Like knockoff, right? Knockoff and foul play.
Knockout is one of the best moves in the game as well.
Urshifu in itself, because of Wicked Blow, is so restricting. It's the reason why you have to run things like Tapu Fini, Clefable, and Buzzwole. I feel like Dark is S tier easily,
You
easily.
think so?
When it comes to OU, I think in general it's probably an S tier type thing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to OU, for sure, it's S tier.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and S
Definitely
obviously,
one of the higher tiers for
yeah,
sure.
S is easily one of obviously the best. Now, Bug is weird, right? Because there is one bug type in OU. It's Volcarona. But there are Pokemon that use U-turn like Corviknight, Cinderace. But do you attribute that to Bug as a typing, or just the fact that that's like just a move they can run? Like it's hard because Bug itself is not a strong stab move. Bug has a lot
Right.
of resistances, right? Just a lot of natural resistances. So Bug is really hard for me to grade because U-turn's really good and a bunch of Pokemon run it. And obviously Volcarona is a really strong bug buzzer, the only OU bug type. Again, I'm looking through OU right now on the side just to make sure I'm not wrong. It's the only OU
Well, you
bug
got
type.
Buzzwole, right?
Buzzwole as
and
well. Thank you
Volcarona.
so much. Thank you. That was a good
Yeah.
one. Thank you. I was staring right at it, but I don't know why I wasn't thinking it. But even Buzzwole, that's a perfect example. It's not running. It's not running like Leech Life, right? It's usually
Yeah,
a
it's not
physically
it's not
defensive.
running bug moves at all. Yeah.
But
Even Volcarona itself, a lot of the Volcaronas commonly they sometimes don't even run bug buzz. They run
yeah,
Fire Dance, Psychic, Roost,
and
Quiver Dance
Yeah,
sometimes.
or even like Giga Drain
Or
added
Giga
to
Drain,
that. Yeah.
exactly.
So, but we have to note that Buzzwole's good defensively because Bug type gives it that resistance to ground. Like that's
It does. But the only thing is, right, because it has fighting type, it's able to check Urshifu. If it
yeah,
didn't, then
yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, that's a big.
Bug as a typing by itself, I feel. I mean, it's a good typing. There are a lot of great bug type Pokemon. However,
But they're good because of their secondary typings
yeah,
usually.
exactly. They're good because of their secondary typings. Exactly.
Bug is basically U-turn. Like when I think of like Scizor, Genesect, whatever U-turn. You know, those are U-turn mods. And it's tough. It's really tough to think about that. But we're only going in terms of OU, not like as a typing itself. Like we're not talking about
Yeah.
Bug has like zero resistances or Bug has like it does have resistance.
Yeah,
But
we're trying to think more on the lines of their the Pokemon themselves and their role and how they perform well as a as that typing and in competitive in an OU. I feel like bug typing isn't one of the best in terms of being able to deal with other typings.
yeah,
You
I
know,
agree. So I'm leaning towards B currently, not B for
I'd
Bug,
put
but like
I'd put bug in C, to be honest.
I would go C as well, but I want to see how we figure like how we keep going, right?
Yeah, we can adjust. We can
Yeah,
adjust.
because that's what I was thinking about lower tier B for now, and then we see how we go from there.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. And I know like that heavy duty boots is there, but we're just like, thinking about types on
And
its own, right?
specifically OU, like typing on
Yeah,
its own, like what it does.
yeah.
So
Without items, without any of that kind of stuff.
yeah. Though I mean, when you argue dark types, they're also really good because of their coverage as well. But like dark is just so spammable, and like
Yeah,
speaking of
yeah.
spammable,
Name a dark type Pokemon that doesn't run a dark type move.
yeah, there's very few. We can actually go through the entire list. Oh, every OU mon will run a dark type move. Every dark
Yeah,
type mon in OU will run a dark type move. And then if you keep going down, you have Weavile and UUBL, which will always run knockoff, right? And
which
then
always run
and
knockoff.
you have Bisharp as the next one, which will always run
Yeah.
knockoff.
Hey,
Grimmsnarl is
you may
one.
think Grimmsnarl, but hey, it's got dark type talent.
It does have dark type talent. Hold up, that's right. Cinnamon always runs knockoff. Crocodile always runs
Yep.
knockoff. Like Moltres runs Fire Wrath. Yeah, so like dark is so good. Like it's a stab like you almost always want. Even though when a Pokemon has their coverage move is Crunch, typically when I see a Pokemon that only has a coverage move as Crunch, if it's not like something like Tough Claws, Lycanroc, obviously, which takes advantage of it because of Tough Claws, I think like it's such a whack move. Like
Yeah.
moves like Crunch is like, oh man, this one has no coverage. But yeah, otherwise, Dark is such a good move. And
I
speaking
know
of
a famous Chinese that was a Scrafty. It had Iron Defense. It had I
Amnesia,
think it was Amnesia.
yeah.
Amnesia Bulk Up Crunch Quick Claw.
Wow, that sounds with rest. That sounds incredible. Okay, so we were just speaking about spammable ones in Dark. I think Ghost basically has the exact
Ghost
same
should
thing.
be here, right? This is a typing that can no
Easily,
longer
yes.
be pursuit trapped at
Can't be
all,
pursued.
right?
It's not currently as strong as it was in post home meta game and even early Olive Armor. It's still amazing. Like don't get me wrong, right? Like Dragapult's still up there, but Spectre is the biggest thing. I think that's the thing that's the keeping Ghost crazy. And then like even in UUBL you have Age Slash and Gengar, right? These are
Yeah.
all mons that are good because there's no resistances anymore. The only normal types in the tier are Blissey and Chansey if you use Chansey. But
Porygon's there, I guess,
yeah,
because
Porygon's
I've seen that
really-
quite a bunch as well. But
you use it a
um,
bunch, to be fair.
yeah,
But I think that in OU, S tier is for sure Spectre. Like, look at that Pokemon in general. That mon has one move, right? It has a Shadow Ball or Hex, and it's still so restricting. Period. And that's just
Yeah.
to show you how good Ghost is. And like Hex is a big thing as well when it comes to Ghost, right? Obviously, losing Pursuit is amazing for Ghost. This is why Ghost types are just everywhere. It's crazy because even without Pursuit, Dark type is still so high. But
Yeah.
Ghost types just being able to spam it, and just like when you think of Spectre, you're like, oh man, nobody sleeps on that mon. Period. Even though its coverage moves include Uproar and Mud Slap or Mud Shot, whatever, nobody sleeps on that mon at all because Ghost is so good. And while Ghost for the longest time didn't have good moves on the physical side, Shadow Ball has probably been one of the best moves of all time, just because ever since it became a special move, obviously after in Gen 4, after the physical special split, because Shadow Ball also opens up for itself. You know, how many times have you lost because they got a Spadef drop on the Shadow Ball, so the next one knocks you
Exactly.
out? So
yeah. And the thing is, like with Ghost typings, right? You know, Dark type is a really reliable typing to deal with it in some situations. However, versus normal types, you know, the option is there to run sub so that you can break through walls and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy to run on Ghost types as well. You know, like Blacephalon, Spectre, Gengar, all love to run sub. You know.
yeah, I agree. I think Ghost has to stay S. Like it's I think it's too much to like. I think you have to
Yeah.
be S.
I agree.
We have a really good typing up next in Dragon, and I think this is also like the metagame where dragons are really good too. Garchomp, Dragonite, Dragapult, Latios. I think Latios is a big one, and that has to do with the fact that there's no pursuit. But like Latios is amazing, especially with Pheromosa being banned, and like all those mons get even stronger if Urshifu goes too, which is crazy to think about. But what do you personally think about Dragon? I want to hear your thoughts first on Dragon.
Yeah, here's what I think, right? There are a lot of dragons, right? You know, you've got Pokemon like Dragonite in OU, Garchomp in OU, Latios in OU, Hydreigon in OU. You got yeah, I think those are like the main ones, right?
Yeah, yes they
Um,
are.
But it's crazy because like sure you have
Fairy types.
these fairy types fairy types to deal with it. Dragon on its own, I think it's tough because there's so many good fairy types that are in the tier and stuff, and it's not like, you know, back in Gen 5, Dragon I think was probably one of the best,
It's
if not
broken.
the
It was
best
broken.
typing.
It was broken.
It was broken, literally, because you did not have a fairy type.
They
So
made
there was
fairies
literally-
because dragons were broken.
Exactly. So I think Dragon is still a great typing. It's great because of its secondary typing, because of the coverage that it can run. But I think Dragon as a typing isn't as broken as it was before. I feel like that could probably be in like A tier or something, maybe.
Okay, so my response to that is because that's going along the lines of why Bug was down there, but the difference being is that the resistances that dragons bring are so strong, right? But like we even have the addition of Scale Shot, which opened up Garchomp to be even more crazy of a sweeper, and then obviously Dragapult has Hex and Thunder Wave, which makes it even stronger with its resistances with Dragon and stuff like that. Hydreigon has like Life Orb, Nasty Plot, Draco, Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse, and then even Dragonite. Dragonite probably like the exception, though it can run Dragon Claw on sets if it wants to. So it's hard for me to say that it's not S. I'll go with high A for now too. I'll agree with you, but I think that Dragon is the only typing that who cares about fairy types, because all the there are no bad dragons in OU. There's not a dragon type that I don't fight that's like, oh man, that's an easy Pokemon for me to fight with. Like Latios doesn't have to be able to pursue. Yeah.
Especially with the Garchomp set that's going around now with this gen, and it's running the Life Orb, Scale Shot, Earthquake, and Stone Edge. That has very little switch-ins, unless you're it's a Pokemon. It's so good. But I think like we're thinking about dragon typing on its own, right? Because it has so many more resistances than something like Bug. I think it's definitely above that. I don't know if it's as good as Ghost or Dark though. In my opinion,
if it was SCB lower tier S, I'll go with high tier A because I agree with you.
Okay.
But I also think that again, just thinking about OU, if Urshifu gets banned, every dragon gets better. Every single dragon gets better.
Yes.
Latios gets even crazier, right? Because Psychic is really strong on Latios, and Latios can run Thunderbolt, Mystical Fire, Aura Sphere, whatever it wants, right? Garchomp, Tanchomp can still be even better at being a Tanchomp. Dragonite doesn't have to care. I think that much. So I'll go high tier A, but I'm also leaning towards low tier S. Okay. So this is an interesting one because for years when you think about electric, you probably thought about like Volturn, Rotom. But in OU right now, we have Zapdos and Tapu Koko. And then in terms of Volt switchers, you also have Magira.
Yeah, Rotom forms, and Regieleki and stuff.
They're not OU, but yeah, I agree. Electric is tough because Koko's really good. Electric obviously has only one immunity, which is Ground. And then Zapdos.
One weakness, you mean?
Yeah, sorry. No, it also does have one immunity.
Electric is... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same
I thought
thing.
you were talking about Electric's immunity.
Oh, no. Sorry. And Electric actually resists some, like... It's weird because, like, Electric is weird because, like, it resists Flying, which is a good typing to resist, just because, like, Hurricane and stuff is all over when it comes to the OU tier. But the electric types that are good in OU aren't only good because they're electric, right? Like Koko and Zapdos. Zapdos specifically, static is the big thing when it comes to Zapdos. Obviously, that's an attribute to its electric typing, but Defog, Hurricane, Roost. But then again, when you think of Discharge, too, like electric type attacks are really, really strong in OU. And I think the thing about ground types as well is they're not hard to wear down, right? Like, they are not hard.
Yeah, they're not hard at all. The thing that with electric types that really sort of put them back this generation was the loss of Hidden Power Ice, which a lot of electric types back then, last gen, used to run Hidden Power Ice to deal with ground types. The coverage was just so expanded back then, I feel. But even now, you still have good coverage on them that can deal with ground types.
Zapdos has Hurricane and Weather Ball, yeah. So
yeah, Hurricane, yeah. Weather Ball is a new thing that's a lot of Pokemon are running now to deal with that on weather teams and stuff.
As we're saying this stuff, by the way, I don't like that Dragon's so close to Bug. I'll put it in C just because I don't like that Dragon.
I want a Bug separated.
Yeah, just like even as I'm saying electric typing, right? Like Koko, Thunderbolts are still strong, and I think Koko's also slept on one personally. I think that Zapdos is phenomenal. Like it's probably one of the most annoying Pokemon to deal with. Period.
Honestly, I would put electric in A tier, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's just really freaking good. Like, it's really good, and I think the next one is an easy S as well. But we'll obviously talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna put Fairy in S.
Fairy should definitely be. So Fairy is kind of like how I was referring to Dragon back in Gen 5, because you could just spam Dragon type attacks. There was no immunities. Fairy doesn't have an immunity, right? Yep.
Fairy has no immunities. And Fairy also resists the key typing of Dark, which is the biggest thing. And
exactly,
Fairy has any Fairy type having Moonblast as well. Moonblast is probably one of the most broken moves ever, right?
Yeah, Draining Kick is one of the most annoying moves ever.
Draining is one of the most annoying. Moonblast is one of the most broken. And the reason Moonblast is broken is it's a high base power move, has good PP, cannot miss, and can lower your special attack. It's just too good of a move. Think of Clefable, how much it does, just because Clefable, I'm going to read Clefable's stats. And you're probably going to be like, if you've never looked at Clefable's stats, you're like, wait, that mon is S rank? 95 HP, 70 attack, 73 defense. Keep that in mind. You're not 2 KOing this mon. It has 73 defense, 95 special attack, 90 special defense, 60 speed. That's a BST of 483. That Pokemon came out in Gen 1. There's a reason why its BST is under 500. But that mon, coupled with Magic Guard, obviously, and like even Unaware, has been one of the craziest Pokemon ever since it got the Fairy type. And even when it was normal type, it was still annoying, right? And then other Fairy types in the tier that are good because they're Fairy and then some, right? You have Magearna. Magearna being Fairy, Flare Cannon, insane. You have defensively, you have Tapu Fini, probably, and Draining Kiss is amazing. The recovery is, I'm glad it got spread. And then you have Tapu Koko plus Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele, Moonblast is amazingly complementary to like Psychic. It complements Psychic super well. Dazzling Gleam on Koko is good for Urshifu, and also the Fairy typing lets it resist. Like Fairy is just such an insane typing. It's spammable, strong moves, and all the Pokemon that use it or have Fairy typing have amazing sets, have amazing moves.
Yeah.
Like there's, at least when it comes to OU. When it comes to OU for sure. Like
I could not have said it better myself. Fairy is a broken type.
It is obviously a broken type. I think these are the big three when it comes to OU personally. Dark,
Yes.
Ghost, and Fairy. In fact, I put Fairy right here. I put Ghost behind. Just slowly. Again, if Urshifu gets banned, it's probably gonna move to something like this.
Yes.
Dark is still amazing, but like Ghost becomes slightly stronger because that's one of the biggest resistances. So, but yeah. So right now, this is easily the big three in OU in my opinion. Fighting is a weird typing, because again, when you look at the OU tier, you have Urshifu, and then going through the rest, like a lot of mons have fighting type coverage. But you have Urshifu, you have Halucha, and you have Buzzwole, I believe. I think that is it. And obviously in terms of fighting type coverage, but this isn't about coverage, but in terms of fighting type coverage, Barraskewda runs CC, Cinderace has a jump kick. I guess you can count Cinderace on this if you want to. Like, so fighting is weird.
So the thing with fighting types, like I think there are a lot of really good fighting types, and a lot of like the lower tier ones are still used in OU. Like you have, like I've seen some Blazikins here and there on screens. Conkelders I've seen a little bit here and there. Komao I've seen. I think I recently saw a Keldeo as well.
Yeah.
You of course there's Galarian Zapdos in UUBL, which is
Also
is a Pokemon
seen,
that's commonly
yeah.
on
Sticky Web as
stuff.
well, exactly.
So like, I feel like fighting is a very spammable type, even if there are ghost types. Like most of the fighting is red coverage, anyways.
Yep, I agree. It's and like I want to lean towards A just because of Urshifu. Like I'm really skewed because of Urshifu. Because
I would put it there because I think a lot of the fighting types have really good sweeping or wall breaking capability
because of fighting and because of whatever secondary move. Like even Conkeldurr has facade and knockoff. Like I think fighting is really good too. I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's A. I think it's like not super high tier A.
I would put it A next to electric.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm thinking the same as well. Okay, so fire. When it comes to the fire types in OU, you got Volcarona, you have Moltres, you have Heatran, and you have Cinderace, right?
But would you really consider Cinderace as a fire type? Because
It does.
just
Pyreball is annoying though. Okay, I agree, but Pyreball is annoying.
Say jump shot is annoying. High jump kick is annoying.
U-turn is annoying. Yes. I agree. So fire is weird though, dude, because like I think the biggest thing that makes fire good is the resistance to fairy, like naturally, right? Obviously. But Heatran has that secondary typing that also does the exact same thing. Moltres, that fire type, Inflame Body, but that resistance to Fairy, that resistance to U-turn, which is very important. And then there's secondary types which let them resist other things, like obviously when it comes to Heatran. I was thinking about it today. I was like, well, fire types are actually at probably their best right now that they've been in a while. Discounting, like not counting the fact that Rotom Heat was OU for a bit. It probably will eventually come back up. But then when you look at last gen, the fire types were Zardwai, Heatran, and that was it when it came to OU. Victini and Volcarona. So I mean, it's still a decent number. Like it's tough. Like I feel like heavy duty boots really changed the game for fire types, specifically.
It did. Like I guess not thinking about boots because we kind of tiered bug similarly in the sense that just based on typing alone, I don't know. I feel like fire is definitely a better. I think fire is a much more valuable typing in the tier than bug on its own because flame body is just so useful to switch in with. Like U-turn is a very
fire types have good moves, dude. Magma Storm, Pyro Ball, Flamethrower / Mystical Fire. Like
I would put it in B tier just for the fact that I missed 75% of my Magma Storms.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a big thing too. All fire moves can miss besides Moltres. Like I guess like Fiery Dance, Volcarona.
Yeah. Because, dude, like, think about it. You're running Fire Blast, it's gonna miss every time, like, that you need to hit it. If you
Pyro Ball
run
misses a lot, yeah.
Pyro Ball's
Beating
gonna miss too,
Zapdos, yeah.
especially, dude. Like, that's crazy. And, like, you gotta run, like, what, Mystical Fire?
Yeah, I was honestly thinking even like fighting would be down here would be, but like because of Urshifu being there, maybe electric more so.
I would put Fire and B. Like, it's a good typing. It's not a bad typing at all. I just think that, in the tier, you're not gonna really be clicking too many fire moves, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's basically Mystical Fire from like Moltres is the most common one. Then you have like Heatran, Lava Plume, or Magma Storm, and which you miss most of the time. It's so decisive. Missing fire moves are so decisive too because the fire types like missing on Toxapex means you don't trap it. Missing on Magearna means it can beat you 1v1.
Yeah, it happens more times than you think too.
Yeah, it does. It does. Flying is really good as well because of boots. Like really good. It's a really good typing. A lot of flying types. I know you're right. Corvi, Dragonite. You have the birds as well. You have Lando, which its flying typing does attribute to obviously the earthquake immunity, which is important. You have Pelipper, which maybe it gets U-turn because it's a flying type, and obviously Hurricane is really strong too when it comes to that. The biggest thing about flying types is that they miss their hurricanes, but like Torn as well. Like their flying types are really good, and resisting fighting I think is a really strong one, especially because fighting is all the way up here.
Yeah.
When it comes to
No,
that.
like I would definitely put flying in. I think in A tier, just because of the fact that it's the only typing alone that is immune to ground, and ground is a very spammable move.
Easily.
So I do like flying types because there's a lot of them. There's like a ton of flying type Pokemon. There's I think about like 9 of them. I think in OU.
Yep.
Which
Mandibuzz
is
as well. I didn't even mention Mandibuzz. Well, I said the birds, so which was like really broad. I meant all of them. They're all birds. They're flying types. What am I even saying? But when I think of the bird, I think of Moltres and Zapdos. I'm sorry.
Flying is a great typing overall. A lot of the flyings have defog as well, which is great for hazard control, which is very much needed in singles format and stuff because hazards are everywhere, right? Rock spikes, T spikes, and flying I think is just nice because it does have a decent number of resistances, right? Or it's immune to ground. It's resistant to fighting.
Grass.
Grass, yeah.
Is
that it?
It has a few. I don't remember what we said. You said ground. Ground is the big one. Okay, ground is the big one. That's all we have to remember. It's also late.
It's the only typing immune to ground.
Yeah. So which is important because ground moves are. I mean, ground has one of the most perfect moves ever in Earthquake. Like again, no drawback move ever.
Yeah, it's a no drawback move.
In singles. So, so that mon is. Like ground is just amazing. Fighting is amazing. So
great typing.
Okay, so grass. Now, when you think of grass initially, before this generation, besides Kartana, and I guess Ferrothorn, but Ferrothorn, grass is only good on Ferrothorn because of Leech Seed, and I guess the ability to like beat like water types, obviously. So that's big. Like before Rillaboom, you might have thought this generation, okay, well, grass is good because Ferrothorn's in the tier, but that was it. Obviously, we recently got Kartana, and then in the Olive Armor, we had Rillaboom with the Grassy Glide, and that is. You underestimate how strong grass is, right? And I think the thing about the grass types is they're all very strong in the tier. Rillaboom base 125, Kartana base 1 million, right? And then Ferrothorn is base 94 attack, which is important when it comes to power whips. And then of course Leech Seeds are extremely valuable, and then its defensive typing is really good, just being able to resist water because of that. And obviously Steel adds on that much more. So when you think of grass, like grass is not as bad as you would think when grass doesn't have like that many resistances, right? Like grass doesn't have that many resistances at all, and grass actually has a ton of weaknesses too, like when it comes to it, like some very common ones, right? Like obviously like U-turn and things like that, but all the grass types in the tier besides like Rillaboom have that steel typing. The two have the steel typing. One you get to see defensively, one you get to see offensively. So I think grass is actually a little bit overwhelming, and that might have to do with the combination of Grassy Glide or just the dual stab on the other two. But grass is a really overwhelming type.
I agree. And so like another thing to mention is that some of these types do have like effects to them. Like for instance, mechanic effects such as with dark types, you can't prankster them or anything. With grass types, you can't go for any leech seeds that doesn't affect them. Powder moves doesn't affect them. In that case, so it's pretty useful in that regard. And just I guess the ground immunity is really nice as well. The water immunity is great because I think water is another spammable move in the game.
The resistance, yeah. Like even like again, just to add to you, even though grass has bug, fire, flying, ice, and poison as weaknesses, which are all great. Like just look at that. Poison doesn't affect 2 of them, right? Flying is neutral on 2 of them. Bug is neutral on 2 of them. Ice is neutral on 2 of them. So like, and Rillaboom doesn't give a damn because it's faster than the fire types, some of them. And the other ones, Grassy Glide can like knock out Cinderace at 90%, like at +2 Life Orb. So
Yeah.
uh,
Honestly, I would put it as like a high B maybe, or
yeah, high B, low A.
what do you think? Yeah, yeah, but just put it as a high B.
Yeah, because like the grass types are phenomenal right now, but the steel types
Yeah.
are amazing in the tier 2.
I agree.
Oof, ground.
I would put ground in S tier, to be honest.
I don't know if I put ground S. I don't think it's Dark Fairy.
It's an
Ghost,
electric, so it's an electric immunity first of all, which is amazing.
important. Yeah, it's important. I
And
mean,
let's
okay, it's
think
tough,
about-
dude. You got Extra Garchomp, Hippo. You got
Think
Lando,
about it. You got
Nidoking.
Nidoking, bro.
Shoot, you might be right. It might be ground. Ground might be S tier.
I
But
would say ground has to be S
it's
tier.
the bottom of S tier though. It's the bottom of S
Yeah,
tier.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I would put it in S tier, dude, because think about it. Ground types, all the ground types that you're running are gonna have stealth rocks too.
They're all freaking good in the tier. They're all good in the tier. Every single one of them
We
is
had a
good.
ground type band. We had Lando I band. We had Zygarde band.
Yeah, and you're right. Zygarde literally was not a ground type.
We
Zygarde
got
was.
Chinese Mammoth still in the tier for it's been Yu. I don't even know why, dude. That thing is uber.
I'm on the threat. I'm on the threat. I'm on the threat. Yeah, ground might be like lower tier this or high tier A, but I
I
can.
put it in.
I guess right now when you look at ground too, the ground types are broken. Like Excadrill bricks. Excadrill is like mini Zygarde, right? Mold Breaker. So doesn't care about that. Garchomp is stupid and Earthquake is amazing. You're right. Every single ground type runs like Earthquake too.
Lando T, bro.
Yep. You got Lando T right there. You got
For its ground typing.
yeah. You got Nidoking. You got oh yeah. Ground plus Flying is such amazing typing. Can we get Gliscor back?
I actually do miss that Pokemon quite a lot. I used to run a Chinese UV spread on that, and it would never die, and people would get mad all the time.
That mon's a good mon. That mon's a good mon. So in current OU, I think Ice is not that great because there's no Ice types in OU. And also there's like 2 Pokemon that use Ice moves. Nidoking, which obviously on Nidoking it's a great move because
Yeah.
freaking Landorus is immune to Earth Power and resist Sludge Wave. And obviously Ice Beam hits that. But like you have like 1 or 2 Pokemon. Dragonite occasionally runs Ice Beam, maybe. And that's about it. You got that and you got that. Maybe you'll see a random Ice Beam on Magearna, but even then I don't think it's that good right now.
Yeah.
So Ice is definitely not at its highest. Ice is still a good typing. That's Envy was just talking about Mamoswine. Like, and the thing is, all the Ice types are usually freaking good. You got Weavile, you got Mamoswine. So dual stab on those are good. But at current OU, Ice is not at its highest. It's at all.
Well, there's Kyurem, which
It's not
I
OU.
have not seen as much lately. I have seen it sometimes here and there, but
It's not OU though.
It's not OU,
It's really
yeah.
freaking good. It's not even UU. Dude, there's no Ice types in UU either. Besides Mamoswine. Besides
I'm
Mamoswine.
surprised it fell down so much. Kyurem used to be one of the scariest Pokemon.
Kyurem is still one of the scariest Pokemon too. Have you ever
It
loaded up?
is.
I fought a team in a Showdown Live the other day that was from Olive Armor OU, and I lost because I had like a Mungus Kyurem and I couldn't break them because those were mons we're not seeing. So like, I think Ice is still a fantastic typing. There's not enough Pokemon in OU that use it. And even though it's amazing, I think we can't.
I would put it in B tier.
It has to be B. It has to be in the back of B. While it's still a phenomenal typing, like shoot, I think Ice, offensively, Ice is S in my opinion, personally. When it paired with dual stab, when it's paired with ground, when it's paired with dark, like look at them, look at these 2 up here. Like it's when it's paired with these 2, it's great. Like, but it's not bug. It's not bug because U-turn's still okay, but you're not killing Pokemon with U-turn. In fact, I think U-turns battle a lot of Pokemon. I made a video about it. I think U-turns battle a lot of current Pokemon in OU.
Joey's an advocate of U-turners.
There's
people
good,
being
there's good
terrible.
U-turn, there's good U-turners. There's Pelipper. Pelipper's a great U-turner. There's Cinderace. Cinderace is a good U-turner. Tapu Koko. But like other mons, barely. Dragonite, Dragapult's another good one. But like other mons, right. I got flips around Barraskewda. I'm good. But normal. So
Yeah, so when you think of normal type, you think of Blissey.
Blissey, that's it.
Right.
And Blissey only good, not because of the normal type. Well, yes, because of the normal type. But like, if Blissey was Fairy, it'd be fine too because it's still take on Spectre just with 255 HP, 135 defense. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, normal is good because it's immune to Ghost. It's immune to Ghost. Yeah, that's it. It's immune to Ghost.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything special attributes. Blissey is a normal type, but like Seismic Toss, Wish, Softball, whatever. Like, it's weird.
I'm saying I would put it in C tier with Bug, to be honest.
You think normal's C just because Blissey, while it checks special walls, I agree. Normal doesn't have too many good attributes.
There's not too many, like, I mean, there are don't get me wrong, normal's a great typing. There are, don't get me wrong, every typing is a great typing. However,
Depending on the
you
mon,
know,
exactly. Yeah. Like,
yeah. However, with in relation to the other tiers to the other typings currently in the tiers that each mon are in, I would probably put normal a bit lower just
yeah.
because they're being
Fighting's
less.
good. Yeah, yeah. And like the lack of resistances, like I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I think we pulled up with a Snorlax. I pulled up with a Snorlax before, and I think a few other people have as well. Like it can work, but I think normal is like
Yeah.
tier two, like
Yeah,
wherever.
I would put it above bug or maybe
That's
below
weird
bug.
because like U turn, but bug is itself is not the
Put it,
best. Yeah.
put it below bug or I guess whatever doesn't matter. C tier, C tier.
Okay, so
uh,
poison's really good in OU.
Poison is a really good
You
typing.
got Nidoking, you got Pex, and you got Galarian Slowking. And honestly, the poison typing is just as good as the secondary typing on all those mons. Like when it comes to when it comes to Slowking specifically, poison is the thing that's giving it resistances to fairy, which is huge.
Mhm.
It's the thing that's giving it that immunity to toxic, which is huge, right? It's the thing that lets it beat all the things with assault vest, right? And Sludge Bomb getting that 30% chance to poison. How many times did we get that? Like how many times did we appreciate that? Or how many times did we lost because of that, right?
Quite
Toxic
a
X,
lot.
absorbing toxic spike, setting toxic spike, resisting fairy, same thing. And Nidoking, ground plus sludge wave. You see how good fairies are. Like I think poison is a phenomenal typing, and it's either I think it's leading B or I don't know if it's A, but it's definitely leading B.
It's leading B for sure. Yeah, I was gonna suggest that as well. Poison is just it's so nice because like if you think about it, fairy is a tough typing to deal with, but when you have a poison type, so you can resist and do super effective damage, and you have like good type combinations like Nidoking and stuff to
Yeah,
like deal with Magearna, it's definitely up there for sure.
I agree. I think that that's a good place to like leave it and just like legitimately leave it there. Psychic
Yeah.
is weird too because the psychic types know you're really good, right? You got Lele, you have a Slowking, you have Slowbro, and then you have Latios, right? So those are all great because of Psychic is actually used on all of them, right? You got Future Sight, you got Psychic. Future Sight is big. I think Future Sight's one of the biggest things that.
Future Sight is
Yeah,
so
that's the biggest thing.
broken.
That's the big thing. Future Sight's broken. Like that might be another mon that's like up there. Like Psychic doesn't have the strongest resistances, and obviously it's weak to like the main typings like Ghost and Dark. But when you think about Psychic in the tier as well, like this is different than U-turn as well because U-turn is typically getting you momentum. Future Sight is getting you kills. Like that's a big
Yeah,
thing.
it is.
And
Yeah,
Teleport is
'cause
strong too.
oh, teleport.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Slowbro
yeah.
being able to resist things as well. Psychic resisting fighting. Maybe we're doing Bug dirty by putting it in C tier, but
You think so? I mean,
I don't know. Like we put Ice in B tier, and there's no Ice types in the tier. Maybe we gotta put Ice in C tier. Like when you think about it, Ice moves are strong, but
yeah, like ice by itself. I think ice is strong because of the combination of moves. You know what I mean? But I guess freeze dry, right? Freeze dry is like,
yeah.
or is a crazy, crazy ice move.
But it's good for Kyurem. Kyurem's not OU. I think we put Ice too high.
Okay, you can move it down to C.
Yeah, I think Ice is like somewhere
Yeah,
here.
we're just gonna adjust a little bit here. Dude, I would put psychic in S or A to be honest, because
I don't think Psychic is
of
S. I don't that think. I think as good as Future Sight is, I think Psychic is only as good as the typing that's hitting with.
well, okay, yeah, we got future sight, we got teleport, we got a lot of psychic.
They're
Pokemon.
they're
Psychic has
game
my
changing.
favorite,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
Did you know psychic is my favorite typing?
Is it?
Yeah, psychic types are my favorite.
Why did you have Guzzlord as your thing for a while then?
Don't worry, dude, it was a phase. Okay, it was a phase. We went through that.
I put Psychic.
Guzzlord.
I think Psychics are A.
Okay, I would put it in A anyways.
Yeah, I put them somewhere here. Like I don't somewhere here. Like,
I put it above fighting, below dragon.
but is fighting above flying though? I think flying is above
No,
fighting.
flying is above fighting for sure.
Yeah, I think these two are fine. Yeah, I think Psychic's up there. Teleport, Psychic, Lele is amazing, and people are sleeping on that mon. Even though it's OU now, people are still sleeping on it. That mon never fails to get off work with it. And Psychic just gives a lot. I think Psychic is just super strong.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, so Rock, while there are currently no Rock types in the OU tier,
Tyranitar.
besides Tyranitar, I don't know why I always skip over that mon. You know what? Tyranitar is weird. It's not a rock type or a dark type to me. It's just a staple. That's the way I see it. Rock is
Yeah.
always a good move as well, and it's better than when it comes to ice because rock slide is important, stone edge is important, stealth rock. Like, you know, when you think of rock like as that, like it's when it comes to like the coverage moves, we obviously put bug, ice, and normal up there, but like rock as a coverage move is always great. Imagine Rillaboom with rock type coverage, like that'd be
That'd be insane.
that'd be
No,
broken.
I want to give it Thunder Punch to be honest. That would be broken, wouldn't it? Thunder Punch, Rillaboom.
I still think Rock Slide or Stone Edge would be stronger. Like Moltres is dying, Zapdos.
Yeah. Thunder Punch will beat Corviknight.
You beat Corviknight with Drain Punch or Superpower anyway. It doesn't even
Yeah,
kill you.
I like
very much.
Rock Slide than Thunder Punch.
Stone Edge Garchomp as well is another one that runs Stone Edge. Extra runs Rock Slide as well. Like there's a lot. Rock is really strong.
Rock is a good typing. I especially love Meteor Beam sets,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
are
they're also really good. I agree.
yeah, a lot of great ones like Near Lego. Nice Meteor Beam on that. Dude, if T-Tar got Meteor Beam, that'd be kind of cool if it did get it.
Yeah, it is. In terms of coverage moves though, like it can't. Rock can't be C. Rock cannot be C. It has to. And Min be B.
I would put it in B to be honest, just because I mean Rock has a lot of weaknesses. I mean it's weak to fighting.
I mean, Tyranitar has
ground,
a bunch of weaknesses, but that's never stopped it
water.
from being one of the bulkiest Pokemon ever. Like one of the walls ever. You know.
Remember when it dropped to Yu? I was pretty sad.
Yeah, I was sad too, but I did stop it for at least the one tier shift that I tried to. So
I put it in high, like B, maybe mid or mid B.
yeah, I think between Poison and Grass, because Rock is like Leech Seed is great, but how many times you risk Leech Seed? How many times you risk the Rock moves? The Rock moves are super strong.
I missed a lot of my Rock moves. I missed Rock Blast. Actually, I hit 2 times for Rock Blast every time.
Steel is easy A. Min.
Yeah,
It's easy A.
It's an A. Well, let me look here actually.
Ferrothorn, Drill, Kartana, Magearna, Melmetal. That's all I got. Heatran. That's all I gotta say to you.
I would go as far as to put. I would put it in
S because of resistance to
actually,
Fairy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about it, right? There are no immunities for Steel type. Steel is a similar typing to Fairy, and the cool thing is, right? Steel is a typing that is quite good against Fairy. It's one of the few resistances and answers to Fairy type Pokemon. And if you think about what's in the tier, you got like some of the big players in the tier, like you got Magearna, Excadrill, Corviknight, Melmetal, Heatran.
They
of course,
all.
you got UPL, Agent Slash there too.
Thing is, some of them don't even run Steel moves, but Steel just naturally gives them the defensive up versus everything. And then some of them do run Steel moves and they're busted with it, right? You got Double Iron Bash, Melmetal. You got Flash Cannon, Specs, Magearna. Yeah, so like, I think
dude, an Ironhead, bro. Ironhead is gonna flinch you like 80% of the time. You know what I mean?
1,000,000% of the time. You think Steel is S?
I would put it S tier, maybe above ground. I would say.
Just because the resistances. I think the resistance is very important.
Yeah, the resistance is great because like you think about it, it resists Fairy, it resists Dragon.
But it doesn't resist Ghost and Dark anymore because they made Steel 2 like crazy.
Yeah, they nerfed Steel typings back in
Offensively,
Gen.
yeah.
Gen 4 it was, right?
6.
Gen 5. Oh yeah, Gen 5
6.
is still resistant.
Yeah,
right?
it did.
Yeah,
And Gen 6 we got Bisharp putting in work. So yeah, I think Steel is like S somewhere here. Not as great as it was, but just offensively and defensively, it's still great. But like,
I put it right there. Yep.
it's because the Steel types are really strong too. That's the thing. The Steel types are amazing. You know you. That's true. I think Water is also very high. Like Water is like probably maybe even leading A. If it's not S, it's leading A.
Yeah, I would put it so like think about it, right? We have Rain. Rain is
Already
super
dangerous.
super dangerous, right? You have like Swift Turn, Barraskewda, Flip Turn, and everything.
And Pelipper, amazing center. Yep.
Tapu Fini, still.
And defensively, you got Pert, Fini, and Toxapex as well. Or offensively, Fini, depending on how you want to go.
Honestly, like I would put Water above Dragon.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Water leads S. I mean A. Leads A.
Yeah.
I would push it to S, but I think certain mons need to be banned for that to be the case. Because the thing is, Water is really good versus all of these, but all these are also really good versus Water besides Steel. It's like in terms of offensively, so like it doesn't have like, and it's the Poison that's matching up with Water, or the Fairy that's matching up with Water that makes it that strong, or the Fighting that matches up with Water.
I mean, think about it, bro. You could literally bring a team with all Water types
and do
win.
well. Yeah, legitimately. Yeah, you just sack 3 of them to beat Ferrothorn, and the other 3 put in work. Like that's just it.
Yeah, I mean, Water types have always just been strong in general, dude. Like, even in past generations.
I mean, it's my favorite typing, bro. You got right here, Water Dragon, my favorite.
Yeah, I need Palkia and OU real quick. I guess we have Kingdra.
We have Kingdra to use, but Kingdra's not even as good as Barraskewda right now. Because Flip Turn was wild. We got look what Pert could do, man. Pert hasn't been like OU like this in forever. right?
Exactly.
And then Barraskewda got from like Barraskewda in the beginning of Sword and Shield, excuse me, was really strong because of Dynamax, and then it fell off, and now it's back in OU as a strong contender specifically because of its water typing and Flip Turn. Like Flip Turn was the biggest godsend for it, and like yeah, so
It changed water types, dude. Like that's why Swampert in OU. Swampert would not be OU if it didn't have Flip Turn.
they made a whole move like Freeze Dry to make instead of making ice better, which they should have. They decided to make Freeze Dry so they could touch water. Make ice better.
Yeah. But as you can see, there are no D tier typings because there is no bad typing. That was the answer. See, I wasn't gonna show you what typing you should stay away from. I was just gonna show you that every typing has its value.
Yep. Yeah, legit. And honestly, like, I hope you guys all enjoy this. This is all subjective, of course. I think some things can be subject to change. I might put some things in S tier. I might lower some things as well. Because even like the C tier is weird because Bug we had there because of the typing is but like U-turn's a good move, right? And then we had a lot of B tier was because of that. So it's weird. I still think Rock is above Bug, even if U-turn's good. Because I don't think U-turn's as great as it's been before, and just because of how the tier is going. But let me know your thoughts. Obviously, I'd love to know you guys' thoughts, what you think differently than us. It's okay. It's going to have different opinions. If you guys want to pick up G Fuel, 30% off. Help your boy out. We're 65% towards my own shaker. It's a caffeinated product, though, so of course, be aware of what you're putting inside your body. But they do have a hydration line, which has no caffeine, no sugar, no calories. I'm kind of trying to become the face of that. So if you guys want to pick that up, links are down below. Check out MV as well. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.